Hey, welcome to WACTS. This is episode 35. This week we're covering what I did from September 29th to October 4th, 2015. It's Sunday morning. My aunt and grandmother arrived last night, so we're hoping to have a fun day with them. We'll probably go to Cold Spring, that kind of thing. Level of exhaustion is pretty high. Haven't gotten like a solid, good night's sleep in a while, but that's nothing compared to poor Liz, who I feel like has not gotten more than 3 hours of sleep on any given night for a while now. Alistair just doesn't like, sleeping long periods of time. It doesn't seem like he's headed toward any kind of like sleeping through the night thing, which I know is kind of the goal for these early phases. He just wants to eat all the time. He wants to eat all the time, and when he's not eating, he's generally not sleeping soundly because he's gassy, that kind of stuff. The big thing we're wondering with Alistair right now is he might have to have a little minor surgery done, and that's basically going to be what determines whether or not Liz and I can go to a friend's wedding, which is over in Chicago, and that's going to be a big trip because in addition to, the wedding in Chicago over a weekend, I also might have to do some work stuff there, and then also we want to introduce Alistair to Liz's side of the family who lives out in Illinois, or at least a couple people out there. So, we're trying to figure out, do we rent a car? Should we buy plane tickets? We're already now within that 2-week window of when plane tickets tend to be cheapest, or past that 2-week window, and so I'm not sure, if I try to buy tickets tomorrow or something like that, what the prices are going to be like. But yeah, the thing for my office that I might be doing in Chicago would be looking at one of the acousticians we work with, who has a pretty intense 3D acoustic simulator. They have like a room you can go into, and it's called like binaural or something like that. I don't know audio, but you can basically be sitting in any spot in the room, kind of like our sight lines, but instead it's audio. And so if possible, I'd like to stop by their office at least to see what that's like, or in a better world, actually get approval from my office and I guess their office to spend a day working with their kind of tech guru and figuring out how to take kind of my VR workflow and their audio VR workflow and kind of marry the two, because I know they use Max MSP, which I'm fairly familiar with, and then that interfaces with Unity, so there's a lot of potential there. I'm so dizzy right now, and my throat is so scratchy, and I really don't want to get sick because I can't take tomorrow off from work because I have a lot of stuff to do. And it's a tricky thing too, because it's like, yeah, I'm not supposed to be working from home or anything like that, but sometimes, like I worked from home on Thursday, and when I know exactly what I need to do for my office, and then, the people who I would be talking to about those things, I know aren't going to be in the office on Thursday. It was one of our project managers who I knew was going to be out all day. And then our London office, our guy out there, it was really tricky because it's like, yeah, I should be in the office in case something happens, but I'm exhausted and tired. And then that balance of getting an extra hour of sleep and then actually being able to just go right to work in here in my office, which is like I can close the door and focus and get stuff done, versus the 4 hours of commuting back and forth, which in some ways just makes me more exhausted, even though you'd think I could sleep on the train or something. Yeah, it's just better, and I can get more done, and I did. I got a lot done that day, so I was happy with that, versus the day before where, again, there wasn't really anyone in the office I was talking to, but it was really hard for me to focus at work because of the lack of sleep. So it's a tricky balance to strike. Obviously, you don't want to have an office policy that anyone would take advantage of or exploit or is unfair to others or something like that. Basically, I'm saying I don't think I should be the only person who's allowed to do this, even the people who live 10 minutes from the office. I think if you know what you need to do in a given day and you want to just be able to focus on it, let people work from home. We live in an age now where, like, what I do is I remote directly into my FDA computer, and a lot of times I'm actually working on that computer, and then anyone can see what I'm doing. So, it's a pretty transparent system. Of course, I didn't know on Thursday that there were some people stopping by who wanted to look at VR, so it would have been good if I was there, I guess, to help with that, but no one told me they were coming, so there's that. Office stuff anyway, yeah, that's architecture. I'm kind of, I guess, just mixing categories today. Let's see if I'll just divide them up or something. We'll see. The top of my list, by the way, right now is Chinese food. Just all the Chinese food that we ordered for last night, because my aunt and grandmother were nice enough to just bring us some food on their way down, because we were exhausted and trying to, clean up the house and just kind of stay awake.